What's the most interesting fact you've ever learned? Eugene Aldrin, the father of the famous moon landing astronaut Buzz Aldrin, not only witnessed the Wright brothers' first flight but also went to see his son land on the moon. In his lifespan, we've been quick. The Guinness Book of Records was invented by the Guinness beer folks. They figured a book of verifiable facts would help stop bar arguments. Mammoths still walked the earth when the Great Pyramids were being built. Honey doesn't spoil when you get a kidney transplant. Usually they leave both original kidneys in your body and put the third kidney in your pelvis. That the patent for the fire hydrant was lost in a fire. Your brain sags when you're dehydrated. I don't remember exact terminology, but it freaked me out and made me start drinking more water. Removed. Chicago is nicknamed the Windy City because of its long-winded politicians, and not because it's fucking cold. Humans have been performing dentistry since 7000 BC. NASA funded a research project that involved giving LSD to dolphins in an attempt to communicate with them in the 1960s. And oh boy does that story get weirder. Because it ends up with a woman jerking off one of the dolphins. Unsure how this was supposed to help teach the dolphin English. But I guess that's why I'm not a NASA-funded scientist. Did you know that humans, when burning, won't die until the fat has already melted? We don't burn to death. We melt. Lego is the world's biggest tire manufacturer. Not really a single fact per se, but putting historical events and figures on a line and finding out some were a lot closer to each other than we thought, while others were a lot further apart. 1. Dinosaurs existed on Earth for a far longer time than humans. Like by several orders of magnitude. So for all that time humanity itself never existed. The world was still here and kept on going as usual. 2. Martin Luther King Jr. and Anne Frank were born in the same year. Should neither of them have met their untimely fates? Both may well still be alive today. Though by now they'd be really old. 3. Cleopatra's birthday was closer to today than it was to the day when the first Egyptian pyramid was completed. By around 600 years. Ancient Egypt was about as old to the Romans as they are to us. 4. Also it's kinda mind-blowing how much the Fertile Crescent and Near East changed after the Bronze Age collapse. All these thriving polities just gone. 5. Nintendo was started in the same year Hitler was born. Also the oldest company in the world is apparently Japanese. 6. Human society's technological growth has been exponential. I know this one is obvious. But it still blows my mind just seeing for how much of humanity's existence we were just hunter-gatherers. How much less than that we've had agriculture. And how much less than that we've had writing. And so on. 7. The Incas were technically in a Bronze Age when the conquistadors arrived. They also defy the conventional idea of civilization. In the Old World, the most advanced civilizations arose around rivers and floodplains. This was thought to be the case as these places are far more productive for agriculture than mountains since there was more room for food to grow and more available water for irrigation. Incas, however, were seen as the most technologically advanced South American society and started in the mountains, innovating techniques to grow food on the limited space available. They also didn't have writing, instead innovating a method of keeping records using knotted rope. It's just so fundamentally different in so many ways to conventional Old World civilizations. A million seconds is 11.5 days. A billion seconds is 31.7 years. A wombat's poo is shaped like a cube. Ketchup started out as medicine. A giraffe has 7 bones in its neck, just like you and me. Every element on the periodic table after iron was made in a supernova. 1.5 billion years ago. Animals and fungi separated from plants. And fungi then separated from animals an estimated 10 million years later. Today, humans share roughly 50% of our DNA with your average fungus. What I'm saying is that, genetically speaking, mushrooms are more closely related to humans than they are to plants. Shaq only scored 1 3-pointer. Venus rotates on its axis very slowly. So slow in fact that it travels around the Sun faster than it rotates on its own axis. Thus, Venus year is shorter than Venus day. That the Michelin stars were created by the tire company. Also the CPR doll used in first aid training. The face was taken from a death mask of a real person. There was a 33-year period, 1889 to 1922, where the Nintendo Company and the Ottoman Empire both existed on Earth. Some woman survived the Titanic and then survived the sinking of the ship that rescued them later on. It was called the Carpathia. I'm pretty sure she survived the sinking of the Titanic's sister ship too, but too lazy to check. There was a book called Futility written about 13 years before the Titanic sank. It was a novel about a large boat called the Titan that set sail from England on a maiden voyage to New York, hit an iceberg in the North Atlantic Ocean and sank, killing pretty much the same amount of people.